Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to start the reading vlog for the second half of November. I hope this will be a nice vlog. We will start getting into the Christmas stuff a little bit more, but for now I just wanted to introduce you to the chaos that my reading is right now. Because if you haven't seen my previous vlog, I started a project where I read all the books on my physical TBR that I owned at the beginning of the year all at once, and currently that means 8 books. I have right now at this moment started 7 of the 8 books, so we are definitely reading them all at once, which is a very interesting experience. I stole this idea from my friend Clio from the channel Bemused Bookworm, so I would highly recommend you go check her out. Her channel is like very similar to mine, so if you like cats, if you like books, if you like vlogs, go check her out. Now, I don't want to talk about all of the books I have currently started, so I'm just giving you a very quick update right now to let you know how it all works, and then we get into the rest of the shenanigans. So I have currently also stopped my project for the weekend, and I am currently reading Their Eyes Were Watching God. I have 90 pages left of that, and then the afterword and the introduction. So I will definitely finish that off today, and this is my last reading goals book for this year that I'm gonna read. And so yeah, I just wanted to read it this weekend, and I didn't want to make this part of the project. There will be a complete reading vlog for this book alone, and so I don't want to talk about it here a ton. Basically, we're following Janie and we are listening to her life story. Janie is a Black woman. I have a hard time kind of focusing on the time when this is set, but I would say feeling wise it's like the 20s and 30s in the US. And yeah, really enjoying this book, and I'm going to finish that off today. And I'm also currently listening to an audiobook, which is not part of my project. This one is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. I'm really enjoying that one. I'm currently a third of the way through this book, and in this one we have a town that is under siege, and everyone is in this castle, but they don't have any access to food anymore. So basically they're about to starve. We are following 3 women in this scenario. We have a lady knight who is trying to protect her king. We have a witch character who's trying to use alchemy to conjure food from nothing. And we have a noblewoman who is now kind of not a noblewoman anymore because her father was accused of treason, and she is seeking revenge. And the story really kicks off when a group of saints appear in this castle, and they miraculously bring food. So I'm having a really good time with that audiobook, and I can't wait to listen to the rest of this. So how is this project going to work? I have a wheel. I will do wheel spins, and every slice of the wheel represents about 100 pages in my books that I'm currently reading. So I will change my book every 100 pages. So right now I am at 7 out of 8 books started. So far I have not finished any of my books, and we will do the wheel spins to kind of choose what I'm going to read next. After finishing this one off, I hope I will still get to start my next thing for the project, because I am falling a little bit behind. This book is about 200 pages, and I think I will be about 200 to 300 pages behind after this weekend, but we'll talk more about that once the weekend is over. So today is the 17th of November, and with that we have finished the second week of my Every Book All at Once project, and I wanted to quickly give you some numbers about that after my little reading update. So this weekend I did finish reading Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I absolutely loved this one. The ending shattered me, but in a good way, so I gave this one 4.5 stars. I can't wait to share my vlog for this with you, where I will talk all about it. So just so that I don't repeat myself endlessly, I'm not going too deep into this right now, but it was really great, and I am intrigued to read more Zora Neale Hurston. And then I did give you a little wheel spin cliffhanger at the end of the last vlog, so let's see what that wheel actually landed on. And so with that, we are starting the 8th book of the 8 books. So we are now officially reading all of the ones that are currently on the wheel at once. And I started reading Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. Now I made it 76 pages in, so I have about 30 pages to go for today before I can move on to the next book. But those pages still count into the stats for the second week, obviously. I will talk more about this book once I have read the next couple of pages, just to keep it like nice and sleek here. So I think next we can go into the numbers. I'm going to start out with the kind of like total numbers of the 2 weeks, and then we'll compare the weeks a little bit. So currently I have read 1,415 pages for the project, which sounds a lot, but is actually not on track. That means I have currently read 22% of the total page count, and to be on track, I would have to be at 25%. That means that I'm missing about 200 pages to reach that goal. Now, I wonder which book is about 200 pages long and took my weekend away. Well. So far, I have completed 13 spins, and I'm currently reading for the 14th one. So again, we're a little bit behind because we should be at 16. Now, if I compare the 2 weeks a little bit, I did read less in the second week. So I read 563 pages for the project this week, and that is around 300 pages less than the week before that. Now, there's different reasons for that. Reason number one would be that, as I said, I read this one, and this is around 240-ish pages if you include the introduction and all. So that took away some reading time for the project. And then I also just had a couple of books where I read a little bit slower, because not all of these like pages do have the same amount of like words on it. And then also I think just with like time spending like on the phone talking to my family and stuff was a little bit different in the 2 weeks. For these 563 pages, we finished 5 spins, currently reading for the 6th one. So again, not quite as good as the first week. And we read a total of 9% of the overall goal. Now, I should be around 12 to 13% to keep up with everything. So we are doing not as great as in the first week, and I'm very worried about it going forward, because now we're already a little bit behind, and for this next week I do have a lot going on. I won't have as much reading time, so while I won't read any other books apart from my audiobook, I still won't have the same amount of time to read. So yeah, we'll see about that, but I'll keep you updated. And for now, let's start into this new week of madness and chaos. So today is the 22nd of November. I haven't updated you all week because I was very busy this week and the reading has not been happening. Also, today is the day I want to decorate for Christmas, which is a process for me. It takes around 6-ish hours. And obviously it's a high pain day because why would it not be? So if I don't seem like very excited right now, that's why. I have quite a bit of like sore muscles from my training that I did 2 days ago still. We went hard on those side abs. And then also I just sitting again, just being at the desk for hours, it's really messing with my back. And then yesterday I also carried a very, very large package to the post office, as you do. And that ended up with like even more sore muscles in my arms. Like I have like spaghetti arms right now. I'm a little bit bitter. I just went to the pharmacy and got another tube of my like pain medicine gel that I have. So I will survive this, but I just wanted this to be like nicer vibes, and I'm like really annoyed. But that it always happens like that. It always happens like that. But because next weekend I will go to see my family, I really want to decorate this weekend. So today it is. However, you're not here for my whining. You're here for bookish updates. So I just finished a book. I just finished reading The Starving Saints. I don't think I've ever updated you on that one, but I also don't really have anything to say about this book, and I think that's why I just never really, I don't know. Now, this book for me is pretty much all vibes. There is a plot. There is like some character development for sure, but personally for me, for the kind of story that this was, I think it would have worked much better as a novella. For me personally, it was just too long and dragged out, and I noticed that whenever I was listening to it, I was kind of zoning out, like not really paying attention to things because I really didn't care that much, and in some regards, I felt like it was a little bit over-explained, and then sometimes the characters make decisions that are just a little bit frustrating, but you completely understand why they do it because they're just not in the right mind of things. Because this book has a lot of like mindfuckery. As soon as these saints appear, what is reality becomes like very, very vague. And so, these characters definitely have to struggle through that. And so they can't always make the right decisions because they are just not like in their right minds. But still, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the vibes. I think I read it just a little bit too late. I was kind of getting out of that horror mood. So overall, I think I give this 3.5 stars. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. I was definitely hoping to be hooked more by this book. But yeah, I thought the characters were interesting. I just think there was like more potential, and maybe just boiling it down to a shorter page count for me personally would have been the way to go with this story. So now before I tell you of my next audiobook, I will quickly go through the little bit of reading that I have done this week. So I finished the first portion in Wish You Were Here. Last time we talked, I said I would talk about this one once I had gotten through it. In this one, we follow a woman, I have no idea, Diana. And she is together, or like she has a boyfriend. He's a doctor in New York, and right when the pandemic hits, they wanted to go on a vacation to the Galapagos Islands, and she's pretty sure that he wanted to propose to her there. However, because of the pandemic, he stays and says that she should go alone, and so she does that. But as soon as she arrives, the whole island is locked down, so there is no hotel or nothing, and an old woman lets her stay in kind of a spare apartment she has in her house. So now she's stuck on the island. The island has no reception, so she can't really talk to her boyfriend. She will get eventually some emails when there's like a really tiny spot of like internet connection for her phone and stuff. But basically she's cut off from everything, and she's now on this island, and she meets this family. So we have the grandmother who took her in, we have the grandson who is her age, who seems to struggle with his lot. And then his daughter seems to have some mental health issues. And so, content warnings for that. She might be depressed. She is self-harming. And yeah, it's basically about our main character kind of settling in there. Now, I think that her perspective is really boring. I don't really like attach to her at all. She's a career woman. She is a art seller, basically. She works for one of those like very big auction house thingies. And she's all about that career, about getting married, about like ticking off the boxes that society set for us. And yeah, really the one question I have reading this is like, why would I follow her? I don't care. Like, rich girl in New York, I do not care. I think there is so much more interesting pandemic stories that could be told. Hers is just not it. And then we do get some of the emails from her boyfriend, and he's really going through it. Like, he has to get through everything that happened in the hospitals in New York, and it's like traumatizing and terrible. And she's like, oh no, and I'm stuck on a tropical island with like some weird people. Yeah. Okay, so I made it through that. This is a mass market paperback, so it reads very quickly because there isn't like a ton of words on the page, so that's quite good. And then we're ready for the next wheel spin. And the wheel decided to give me like my hardest read I have going on, The Unwomanly Face of War. So I'm now about almost 2/3 of the way into this book, 60%. And I am really enjoying this one, but this is such a difficult read because these women really go into detail about their experiences of the war. And I love it. I love what this book is doing. I think if you want to read a book that just shows the horrors of war and the realities of it, this book does it brilliantly. But it is just so hard to imagine that these people went through this. And yeah, it's really tough. It's a tough read. Also, there is a ton of words on the page with this one, so it usually just takes me quite a while to get through this. But yeah, it's not because this book is bad. I think this is going to be a 5-star read for me, to be sure, but it's just so hard to read this. And then I managed to do one more spin. And we got The Secret Years again, so I'm not quite done. I have one chapter left to reach the page goal for this one before I can move on to the next spin. This book, there's like one thing, like one trope I really hate more than any other. And this book is doing it. And you can guess what it is. I don't really consider it a spoiler. I mean, we're still like in the first quarter of the book. You can guess in the comments what it is, and I'll let you know if you want to. But yeah, this had me so frustrated last night. And the good thing about this is that it reads super fast because it is in German, and again, we have very few words on the page. I fly through this. I read this so much faster than the other books, so that's good. Like, I probably will need like another half hour to finish off the one chapter I still have, so that's really good. I will finish that later today and then move on to the next spin, hopefully. But for today, as I said, we have the Christmas decorating going on. I'm not excited about it. I love when it's all up and it's beautiful, but I hate getting there because I'm a messy person, and like messy in the sense that I don't keep like my spaces like organized. So whenever there is like a free little area somewhere on a random shelf, I will put my crap in there. So this is the one time of the year where I really go through and try to rectify that. And yeah, it's just not fun. It's not fun. I wish I was different. I'm not. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. And so what I need for that obviously is a cozy Christmas audiobook. And so today I will start listening to the winner of my little audiobook audit that I did. I will link the video down below if you want to see how I came up with this one as my winner for this year. So this is the one, Cooking Up a Christmas Storm by Amelia Berry, and I'm very excited. I have obviously already listened to the first 5 minutes in that video that I did, but now I'm going to get into it for real, and I hope it will be so cozy and fun. I loved the Scottish accent in the audiobook that when I sampled it, so yeah, I am ready to get into this, and we'll talk more again when hopefully some more reading has happened. So today's the 24th of November. We have finished another week of the project, and I'm here to give you a little bit of an update how it went. So I think when we last spoke, I was making my way through the next part in the Secret Years. Unfortunately, I don't really love where the story is going right now. Our main character, Thomasine, is definitely suffering a little bit right now, but I feel like the women in this are all a little bit crappy, and I don't know, most of the men are just like the honorable good guys, so it feels like very unbalanced and weird because of that. I don't love the decisions that our main character makes in this one. I don't love how dumb she is and how much she doesn't know, which you could argue is not her fault, but like still is, I don't like reading about this. So when I had finished that, we had time for another roll. And it is really frustrating how close I have gotten multiple times now to get Simon Snow, which is on the wheel the most times because I want to read that whole series, and it still keeps skipping over it. and gives me books I'm not excited about. It's so frustrating. But we did get the Unglückseligen again. This was the first book that I rolled for the third time. So with this one, we have now crossed the halfway point as well. This book, again, just not for me. It's very terrible. And if I was a normal human being, I would DNF this book. The writing is so terrible in this. Around the halfway point, the two characters we're looking at here make their way from the US to Germany. And yeah, I don't even know what to say about this story apart from why is it so long? Why am I reading it? And after finishing that, we could do another spin. And I got the women's history. So with this one, I was very happy because I am enjoying reading this. I am almost done with this part. I have a couple of pages left, but then last night I was just too tired to push through. So yeah, I am still enjoying this one. This next part that I'm reading right now is focusing on the time after the Second World War. We were looking at the Vietnam War. It has like parts about power and how women were able to get into power. We're reading about the first female heads of states in the world. There was a part about Eleanor Roosevelt that I thought was very interesting because I didn't really know anything about her. So that was quite fascinating. Where I stopped reading last night, it talked about the wife of Nelson Mandela. I think her name was Winnie. And I had no idea that she was actually a really problematic character. I had never heard that before. So that was quite interesting. And it's also, I like that it's also talking about women that weren't great in power. So we do have a couple of digs at Margaret Thatcher in here as well. And just the way it makes no sense for women who rely so heavily on the women's movement to then come into power and destroy all that effort. So yeah, I really like that in this book. So I will finish that last couple of pages today and then we will spin again. But for now, I quickly want to tell you the numbers for this third week. And it was really bad, you guys. Okay, so at the end of the third week, we have finished reading for 17 spins, where we should be right now, if we want to finish by the end of the year, is 24. So we are 7 spins behind, which is not great. I have read now 1,838 pages, so almost 2,000. And we should be at 2,400. So we are roughly 600 pages behind, which does fit kind of with the 7 spins we're behind on. So it's not great, you guys. It's not great. And we have now finished 29% of the overall pages that I need to finish this project. So we're almost a third of the way through. However, we should be at 37.5% if we want to finish by the end of the year. So we have fallen even more behind. For comparison, I have achieved about half of what I did in the first week of this project in the third week. So I hope I can turn things around a little bit this week. Last week was very busy. I did the audiobook audit thing for Christmas. That took up a whole day. I went out to dinner with a friend. That took up a little bit more time. And then on Saturday, I decorated for Christmas, which meant that I listened to a lot of my audiobook, which I will talk about in a second. However, I also didn't really read the whole of Saturday. And yeah, I'm just hoping that this week will be a little bit better. However, it's still a very busy week because on Friday I will go visit my family until Sunday. So yeah, I also had to do some editing prep for that. So yeah, it's just busy right now. It's busy. I'm trying to get all the advent calendars shipped to my family and friends. I'm trying to prepare the first little gifts that we will exchange this weekend in my family. So it's just a lot going on right now, and I hope that the reading will pick up a little bit again when all of this is done. So talking in kind of like progress terms, this week I have read 423 pages, which compared to my sabbatical reading is still a good amount for a week. Then I finished reading for 4 spins, which makes sense. We read about 7% of the total page count this week. With spinning the women's history, we have also now the first book that only needs one more spin to get finished, so that's very exciting as well. And I think it's overall just interesting how the wheel does not land on Simon Snow ever, even though it is on there 12 more times. It's like almost half of the wheel by now is Simon Snow, and I keep spinning the other books. Like, I really thought that at the beginning we would get repeats of the bigger books because they're on the wheel more often, but the reality is that for now it is very evened out. We have one book so far that only got 1 spin, and we have 2 books now that officially got 3 spins. So it is very evened out with these books. Now let's quickly talk about my audiobook. So while decorating for Christmas, I started listening to Cooking Up a Christmas Storm, and this book is so great. I'm really enjoying it. And this one we're following a main character that feels very much neurodivergent. I would say she probably has ADHD. It doesn't seem to be diagnosed, and she has internalized a lot of the kind of stereotypes and the judgments that she has received for how her brain works for her whole life. So she's really down on her luck. She's going to this cookery school disguised as her ex-girlfriend, and she has no qualifications for the job that she's taking there, which is basically being their kind of marketing manager. And it is very chaotic. She also has some panic attacks on the way there, and I just feel like having a character like that in a story like this, for me it feels very great. I don't have ADHD, I think, so I don't know how accurate the representation is, but I do definitely have some things that I felt like had like similarities to problems that I have in my life as well. So I definitely connected to our main character, even if I don't feel exactly like she does. But what is so nice about the story is that she goes to the Highlands, to this castle with the cookery school, and she finds an environment that is very accepting and where there is space for her and nobody's judging her for how her brain works. Now the problem obviously still is that they all think that she is her ex-girlfriend, so there will probably a bigger fallout at some point. But for now, all of these characters are so accepting and embracing her and telling her that they're so happy that she's there and that she's really helping them, and it's really heartwarming and I really enjoy it. So I would definitely recommend this audiobook. So far I'm halfway through, I'm having a great time with that, and I can't wait to listen to more later. And now the last order of business is that I have another package from my best friend to unbox. Now this feels very much like a puzzle, so let's see what's in here. Okay, so I think I'm right. So this seems to be a puzzle advent calendar. Oh my god. It looks really cute. Let me see what's inside. Okay, there is a little card. Okay, I don't know how to hold this up, but basically it looks like this. So you have these little things, and then you have the days, and I think like some are bigger than others. This looks so fun. I love this. I really love having a puzzle advent calendar. I had one from my best friend for at least last year, but I think the year before that as well. And I think puzzling is really, really fun. I just don't really have the room to do it. So having like smaller bits or like where you just puzzle a little bit every day makes more sense for me, because I don't have like a large table where I just can like puzzle, and like the cat will destroy it and stuff. So I'm very excited about this. That is so cool. Okay, and speaking of advent calendars, I better start working now, because later today I will have to go to the post office and ship some advent calendars off. And yeah, I hope you have a good start into this last week of November. Can't believe we're here. I can't believe it, but yeah, let's do our best. So here we are again, voting in the final round of the Goodreads Choice Awards. Now, I hadn't really read a lot of the original books, so I don't know how many actual votes we were going to do. Glad to see that Emperor of Gladness is still there, but I still have not read it, so not voting here. Okay, so I'm not surprised that the Lilac people didn't make it, because I feel like I was actually surprised that they was there in the first place. So yeah, it's a little bit sad. I still really want to read it, but from these ones, I don't want to vote for anything. Vera Wong made it, so that's great. King of Ashes also made it. That is amazing. So I'm just gonna vote for Vera again. Yeah, I don't think I voted for anything in romance in the first time. Okay, romantasy, I had voted for Magical Innkeeping, and it's still here, so we're going to do that again. And Emily Wilde is also still here, though. That's great. Okay, I hadn't voted in fantasy, so I don't think I will vote again. I don't think any of these are a surprise. I gotta be honest, with Watermoon, I had a feeling people didn't really love that one. It was everywhere, don't get me wrong, but I didn't feel like people loved it, so it is a little bit surprising. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, science fiction, I don't think I had voted for anything. Okay, for horror. Still the only one I have read is The Lamb, and I just don't feel strongly enough about it to vote for it. I think apart from that, it's not really surprising. Like, the big names are all there. Stephen King is probably going to win because he always wins. Okay, so The Lilac People is still in the debut novel section, so I might vote for it here again. Okay, I'm very disappointed that the S.A. Cosby audiobook did not make it. Because, yeah, I don't care about any of these. Okay, YA, I had voted for Oathbound because I'm so mad I still haven't read it. And I think I might do that again. I'm glad it made it. Okay, and with that, we have made it through the categories I'm interested in. So let's see. I don't think, like, for the winners, there will be any big surprises. There usually never are. But, you know, it's just fun. I'm having fun. So hope you enjoyed this little insert.
Today is the 26th of November. Yesterday I got the first migraine since I got back to work. Yay! So I'm not feeling super well. However, because of that, I had to cancel my Zumba class last night and I had more time to read, so it is time to give you another little update. I think the last time we spoke, I was just finishing off my last couple of pages for that part in the women's history, so I did that and we are ready to do another spin. And I got the Unwomanly Face of War again, which is a really, really great read. It is so harrowing and sad and just emotional, but I really like it. I really like the way that this is full of these testimonies of these different women. The author is using her commentary very sparingly. It's mostly just the interview transcripts, and they're so powerful, and the way this book is structured is great. I'm really, really loving this one, and can only highly recommend. It definitely shows all the horrors of war. And with that finished last night, I could do another spin. And finally, the wheel was nice to me and gave me the Simon Snow series again. I love this book so much, and even though this is on the wheel most often right now, it just took forever to get it again. And this is just not how I would usually read this book. Like when I read it the first 2 times, I think I read it within 3 days. So it's a little bit sad, but I just love it so much, and especially because I started having that migraine last night. Reading this was just really great. And so I finished that portion as well last night. So now I have read more than 2,000 pages for the project, and that means it is time for another reward. And again, I went to the Discord of my friend Clio from the channel Bemused Bookworm, and I let people there vote on my reward. And the one that won is that I get to finish the book I have made the most progress in so far. So I currently have 3 books that are each 1 spin away from being finished. We do have Carry On, which in this one I have to read a little bit more than 100 pages and then I will be finished. We have The Women's History. In this one I have about 90 pages left to be finished. And we have the Unwomanly Face of War, where I only have 50 pages for it to be finished. And that means this is the one that I will be choosing. I'm currently 86% into this book, and that is the furthest I have gotten in any of my books. So I will finish this one tonight. And it's just so exciting to finally actually finish one of the books. This will be the first out of my currently 8 books that I finish. But if we're lucky with the rolls, we might even finish another one before the month is over. So let's see about that. And last but not least, for my audiobook, Cooking Up a Christmas Storm, I have less than 2 hours left now, so I might finish that either today or tomorrow. I'm loving this one so much, and on the one hand, I don't want it to end, but then I'm also in the kind of 3rd act breakup or whatever it's called, so I want to get to the happy ending. So it's a really great book. I think this year I did really well with choosing my favorite one in my little audiobook audit. I'm very happy and proud of myself. And once I finish that, we will talk again and we'll see what I will start next. So today is the 28th of November and I have finished books, like multiple books, and so I'm here to talk to you about it. So I think the last time we spoke I explained to you about my second reward, which was to finish reading The Unwomanly Face of War by Svetlana Alexievich. This one is an absolutely heartbreaking read. It really shows the horrors of war. It was tough to get through, but I gave this one 5 stars. I think the way the author put this together with all of these like first-hand accounts, these transcripts of the interviews, and just like very minimal commentary, it was perfect. It transported everything perfect. It breaks my heart to think about that the women interviewed in this one probably all are not alive anymore. It's like so sad because I think if more of these women were still around, they would probably not agree to what's happening in Russia today. I don't think that people who lived through this period of time in Russia could now go and invade another country. This one is so much about what it felt like to have your country destroyed and invaded, and just how these people felt and all the terrible stuff that happened. So I can never imagine the same people going out and doing this to another country. And it's just, yeah, perfect. I highly recommend reading this book. It's very unique, a very great take on World War II, really showing that we need to find a way to live without war on this earth, and I loved it. And with that one finished, we went back to our normal spins, so let's see what we got. And in this one, we got Wish You Were Here Again. And I do have a bit of a story now. So the thing is that today I was actually supposed to go and see my family for the weekend. It's kind of our Christmas kickoff meeting. But unfortunately, last night my best friend texted me and she told me that we can't meet up tonight, so I had to reshuffle everything. So I'm actually just going tomorrow and I'm staying until Monday. However, I need a book for the train. Now, my original plan had been that I would just read a Christmas ebook on my trip. However, I have fallen so far behind with the project that I can't in good conscience read a different book for this weekend because I have about 7 hours of train. Now, I don't know how much of that I will actually spend reading because I do have to take very early trains, and so I will probably be very tired. However, the one book that I can take with me because it's small and it's light and I still have quite a bit to read in it is this one. So I'm putting this wheel spin on hold to read the next part in this book during my trip and maybe even read a little bit more depending on how I'm feeling. And I think it's the smartest choice, even though it's not like in the spirit of the challenge to be like, oh, I'm just gonna read this in a set time. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. It's just I have 6 bottles of homemade Glühwein to take with me, so I will have very heavy luggage and I just can't bring multiple books that I've spun. So this is the one I'm taking tomorrow and we'll see how far I will get in it. So because I had decided that I could do another spin, and for that one, the wheel was really kind to me and it gave me Simon Snow again. And I got to read the final 100 pages of Carry On. I love this book. I think this was my 3rd reread of this one. I love it so much. Is it perfect? No, but do I love it with my whole heart? Yes. So I gave it 5 stars on reread. I had such a good time reading that last night. It was definitely also what I needed because of like, rescheduling the whole trip was a little bit of a mess. So this was just like a hug to get to read this again. And so yeah, I finished this one. Now obviously this sequel is on the wheel, so it doesn't actually take a book off for me, but still it was great. I loved it. And so because I'm now unexpectedly home tonight as well, I did do another spin to see what I can pick up tonight. And the wheel went from, hey, read this book you love, to, hey, read this book you wish didn't exist. And so we're back with this German book, Die Unglückseligen by Thea Dorn. If I read the next chunk of it, I will be 3/4 of the way through. So that's good. But still, yeah, I don't love this book. So that's it for the project reading that I've been doing. However, I did also finish my audiobook, Cooking Up a Christmas Storm, and this one was really sweet. I gave this one 4 stars. It wasn't perfect for me, but I think it had a lot of the things I love for my holiday reads. Now, this one, even though Christmas is in the title, I wouldn't say it's a Christmas book. Most of the story of this book is set in November, and then we kind of skip over Christmas and go to New Year's Eve. Yeah, it didn't have the like Christmas vibes I was hoping for. I still think it was a really fun book. I'm sorry if the light just changed. It's really dark today. So in this one, as I said, I just wanted a little bit more Christmassy vibes. What I did really like is the characters, especially our main character. Now, I think I said in a previous update that to me, it felt like ADHD representation. However, that is never brought up in the book. I thought it would be something that maybe comes up, that maybe the character decides to, I don't know, like figure it out. I don't know. But it never was brought up. Nobody ever mentioned anything like that. So maybe I'm also just reading into it. As I said, I'm not a professional and I don't know. It's just a vibe I was getting. So take this with a grain of salt. And maybe if you've read the book, you can let me know what you think about it. Apart from that, the romance was also really cute. We do have this kind of handyman who wants to fix everything in his town. And he also has Polish roots. So I thought that was really sweet as well, the way it was brought into kind of the ending of the story. I wasn't really the biggest fan of the third act breakup. I felt like, I don't know, it's just the main character did a lot that other characters had to forgive her for. But apart from that, I had a really fun time with this one. So as I said, 4 stars, would definitely recommend. It had the food, it had the found family aspect, it had the romance. And it did have some Christmassy things, just don't expect it to be like overboard Christmas everything. So that means I could pick up a new audiobook, and somehow I chose a very short one because I thought I wouldn't have like a ton of time to listen to my audiobook, and I want to be ready on the 1st of December to start all of the books for my game night-a-thon TBR. However, looking at it now, I'm already more than halfway through, and I think I will finish it today, and then I still have 2 days where I will be traveling. So I don't know what I'll do about that. However, the audiobook I started is booked for the holidays. This one is a Hanukkah book. So when I saw that, I actually wasn't aware of that when I put it on my TBR originally, but when I saw that, I was so much more intrigued because still, I think the balance between Christmas books and Hanukkah books is not there. So whenever I find Hanukkah books I'm excited about, then I read them. In this one, we are following an editor who is not like very high in her career yet, and she gets tasked with going to this famous cozy mystery writer who is late on delivering her final book in her series. However, when she gets there, the grandson of the writer is in the house, and he basically tells her that his grandmother has passed away and he's secretly trying to finish writing her final book. So It's really sweet. I would say the love interest, especially because of the way the narrator, the male narrator, reads this character, feels like Joel Maisel, but as a baker. And I'm weirdly all about that. I really, really like it. I think the like New York accent that is done there, it just, yeah, also the tone of voice. It really reminds me of Joel, and throughout the like TV show of Mrs. Maisel, I really fell in love with him. Like at the beginning, you don't like him, but he does grow as a person, and so I'm not hating that. So yeah, as I said, I'm already more than halfway through that one, so I will probably finish that off today, and then we'll see what I do next. So yeah, I think there will be one more update for this vlog, probably as soon as I get back from my weekend trip. So wish me luck that everything goes well with like the new arrangements, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So today is the 1st of December, and with that we have come to the end of this vlog. So let's quickly talk about the last reading related things that I have for you. So before we get into the project, I did finish listening to my audiobook. I think it was booked for the holidays, right? I can't even remember right now, but I did finish that one and I really enjoyed it. It was really cozy and sweet. I don't know if I've actually talked about it because it was such a short book, but basically we're following a book editor and she goes to the house of like a big cozy mystery writer, and there she meets the grandson of the writer, and it turns out that the writer has passed away and the grandson is secretly trying to finish the last book in that big cozy mystery series that his grandmother has written for many years now, and so he wants to finish this project, and our main character, the editor, decides to help him with that. We do have dual POV in this one, and we also have two narrators for the two POVs. I very much enjoyed that for the audiobook. Unfortunately, this is one of those Amazon original ones that you can't really listen to anywhere else, but I did enjoy it and I gave it 4 stars. Now, was this a little bit rushed? Yes, definitely. I think it would have been an even better story if it was just like maybe 8 hours instead of 5 hours of an audiobook, but I still had a really good time, and the male narrator really reminded me of Joel in Mrs. Maisel, so I had a good time with that. I feel like I said all of that already, but I'm sorry if I repeat myself. I just had a very bad migraine again yesterday, and usually after that my memory is just fried. So just in case I haven't said these things yet, I wanted to say them again. But yeah, this was a 4-star, very quick audiobook novella for me, and I would recommend it. if you are interested. So then I decided to start my next audiobook, and this is actually already one for my game night-a-thon reading, so I won't talk about it here. You will hear more about that in my December videos, but that one is Under the Mistletoe with You by Lizzie Huxley-Jones. Lizzie Huxley-Jones wrote my favorite Christmas romance so far that I have read, so I'm very excited for this next audiobook. This one is also gay and it features a trans love interest, and it also has to do with like Hollywood and stuff, which I also enjoy. It's set in Wales, and the love interest also has a disability. So more on that in the December videos. So going back to the project, I think the last time we talked, I was reading Die Unglückseligen by Thea Dorn again, and this one, still, I really dislike this book. The main character is what I hate most about this book, but then also this could be so interesting, but it's just not. And yeah, I will be so glad when this is done. This needs 2 more spins, but I'm now 75% through this book, so that was an achievement. And then I still had left over my spin for Wish You Were Here, which I read on the train. I actually had expected to read a little bit more of this, but I actually only managed to read the next 100 pages as per the spin. So we're caught up with this one. Now, this one I still have some mixed feelings about, because I do kind of like the reading experience of this. There is stuff in here that is interesting. I especially like it when it talks about the art, because our main character in this one is an art dealer, like an art seller. She works for one of those big auction houses, and she was about to get a famous woman to sell a painting through this auction house, and the painting that she was about to sell was one of Toulouse-Lautrec. And so I saw some of his paintings while I was in Paris, and that just, it makes it so much more interesting to me, because I kind of know what it's talking about in a way, and I just really love the snippets we get about the painter's life in here, because I think that was a very interesting person. He lived a very unconventional life for the time, and if you were wondering, one of the Moulin Rouge characters in the movie is also inspired by this painter. And with that, we have caught up with the books. Now, I quickly want to give you the stats for week 4 before I let you go with a little wheel spin cliffhanger. Okay, so over the last 2 weeks, I had already not reached where I would have needed to be with my reading to finish this project by the end of December. And while we did do better than the last 2 weeks, we still have not caught up. So we are currently 2,421 pages into the project. We have finished reading for 24 spins, and we're currently around 38% into the project, if we take it by the pages that I need to read. So we should be at 50% right now, because we have finished the first month of this project. So if I want to finish it in 2 months, we should be at 50%. We're not even at 40%. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but I'm not giving up. I'm still gonna give it my all for the upcoming weeks, and we'll just see what happens. Now, if we just look at the kind of impact that we've made this week, then this week I have read 583 pages. We finished reading for 7 spins, which somehow I feel like the math must be wrong, but I have checked everything and it is correct. And we read about 9% of the overall page goal in this week. So yeah, while this has been my second most successful reading week in this project, we're still nowhere where we need to be, and I really have to pick up the pace in December. Now, fortunately, the next week is completely free for me. I don't have anything else to do than work and read, and that's what I'm going to do, and so hopefully next week we will catch up a little bit. If you want to see more of that, then you should come back in December for my vlogs.
I would love to have you here.
There is one more thing I wanted to show you, something that my grandma gave me. This is a book that my great-great-grandfather owned. And it is a book about psychoanalysis. Is that what you call it in English? And it was printed in 1924. Let me see. And it's so cool because my great-great-grandfather also underlined and commented this. Now, I have a very hard time reading this handwriting because today we use a completely different writing style, but it's still like so cool to have this. So I wanted to share that with you as well.
Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my videos, and leave a like and a nice comment. That always really helps me out. You can tell me which is the most surprising book you've read this month. I would love to hear about that. And so now be ready for the cliffhanger wheel spin, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!